you're ready, sir.
October 5th, 2021, 6 p.m. I call to order the Oconee County Council meeting. As a reminder, the public has 2 times that they can speak at council meeting. The first is public comment, and the second is public hearing, if there's one scheduled. Other than those 2 times, the public shall remain silent during the council meeting. Anyone making a disturbance during the meeting will be asked to leave council chambers for the remainder of the meeting. Also, as a reminder, please ensure that you follow the county's legal prohibition against engaging in partisan political activity, including speech, during this meeting. This meeting is not called for that activity, and such activity is prohibited by law. Moment of silence, please. Mr. Root?
Yes, sir, thank you. Pray with me if you'd like to. Well, Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for life that you've given us. Help us to remember how precious it is, and not only our lives, but the lives of our neighbors, those here with us. Thank you for the opportunity to have an abundant life that would include things like interactions like this, to do important business and to help out our neighbors. Pray that you'd give us guidance, wisdom in doing that you'd help us to be selfless in that activity, really quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. And I pray that this prayer would be in your name, and all that we do and say would be in your name, would be consistent with your will. Amen.
Start. Will you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the September 21st, 2021 regular minutes?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I was looking over the minutes, and when I nominated Mr. Eric Barnhill, they have it in the thing, or in the minutes, that it is Gary Barnhill. So I think that needs to be corrected.
So motion to change Gary to Eric.
Right.
Yep. Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any more discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Root?
Yes, sir. I'm going to make both my comments and comments for the administrator. The first one came a statement from our auditor regarding the tax notices for this year. Her statement reads, "There will be a delay in the mailing of the 2021 tax notices due to a data extract error. The error occurred while generating a file for the printing company. The 2021 taxes are now available for review, however, and/or payment on the county website. The website data was not affected by the extract error. To review or pay your notice, which the South Carolina Department of Revenue said you can go ahead and do, please visit the website, the county's website, at oconeesc.com/pay-taxes-home." And she also said we anticipate to have the notices delivered by the United States Postal Service by mid next week. It also came to my attention, filtered down over what have you, in relation to the Keowee Fire Department, our fire district's bond ordinance, which we have first reading on this evening, that there may have been, or may not, but I think there may have been a misunderstanding, or may be a misunderstanding about the nature of the Keowee Fire District. It's not a separate entity. It's really kind of a division of the county. It is governed somewhat by a commission, but that commission still has to have everything approved by the council. That's why this bond ordinance is here. So it wouldn't really go bankrupt or become insolvent, because the whole county would have to go bankrupt or become insolvent for that to happen and trigger the county being responsible for payment for this fire truck. If, however, for some reason the county decided, and it's only the county who can do this, to dissolve the district, then it could be a full county responsibility. I don't see the county doing that for any reason, but if the fire district doesn't pay it, the fire district is the only area that's obligated to. So while it's a general obligation bond, it's limited to that specific area for collection. So I wanted to cover that. And also just in housekeeping matter, we have on here Resolution 2021-11 on the agenda. It should be 2021-13. The caption is correct. The ordinance in the backup is all correct. I don't believe it necessitates amending the agenda. It's just a scrivener's error. But it's 2021-13 as the actual ordinance reads. And that's all I have.
Mr. Rick, can you
Excuse me,
clarify?
resolution.
Clear that one more time.
Yeah, I said ordinance, I meant resolution. So if you looked at the only resolution we have on page 3, it's stated first and final reading of the following resolution 2021-11. It's actually 2021-13.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Rick?
No, sir, thank you.
Proclamations. Proclamation 2021-13, a proclamation honoring Mr. Jules Grove Gina, Oconee Airport Operations Supervisor, upon his retirement. Mr. Jules Grove Gina, a resident of Walhalla, South Carolina, began working at the Oconee County Regional Airport as an airport line attendant on April 17th, 2000. And whereas Mr. Grove Gina later served as operations supervisor for Airport Director Kevin Short and continued under the same capacity for current Airport Director Jeff Garrison. And whereas Mr. Grove Gina oversaw aviation operations and airport projects demonstrating exemplary customer service to all airport patrons and providing assistance to various officials, members of the public, and fellow staff. And where Mr. Grove Gina consistently proved himself as knowledgeable and committed staff member, dedicated to providing airport safety and operations guidance and readily lending a hand wherever needed. And whereas his colleagues recognized him as a steadfast, motivated individual who stayed calm under pressure, took pride in his work, and was ever vigilant when performing various duties around the airport terminals. And whereas after 21 years of service to the citizens of Oconee County, as well as the patrons of the Oconee County Regional Airport, Mr. Grove Gina retired on August 21st, 2021. Now, therefore, we, the Oconee Council, do hereby recognize and express our sincere gratitude to Mr. Grove Gina, dedication and commitment to the county, and congratulate him on the occasion of his retirement. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. And I sincerely apologize if I pronounced your last name wrong. Funny. One for your joints. Put him on the square.
Trap door.
Good.
Adam?
Thanks, sir.
All right, good.
Proclamation 2021-14, a proclamation honoring Mr. Daniel Mathis of Coney County Rock Quarry Equipment Operator number 4 upon his retirement. Whereas Mr. Daniel Mathis, a resident of Long Creek, South Carolina, began working as a full-time Coney County employee on October 17, 1994. And whereas Mr. Mathis initially worked as an equipment operator in the Roads and Bridges Department before transferring to the Coney County Rock Quarry on July 20th, 2015. And whereas on December 17, 2018, Mr. Mathis was promoted to Equipment Operator 4, the highest level of operator at the Coney County Rock Quarry. And whereas Mr. Mathis distinguished himself as a hardworking and dedicated member of the Rock Quarry team, consistently going above and beyond to serve the public and meet the ever-growing demand for the Rock Quarry products. And whereas Mr. Mathis' constructive thinking and his willingness to help fellow staff members made him vital to the success of the Coney County, and his departure has left a void not easily filled. And whereas after 26 years of service to the citizens of Coney County, Mr. Mathis retired on August 20th, 2021. Now, therefore, we, the Coney County Council, do hereby recognize and express our sincere gratitude to Mr. Mathis' dedication and commitment to the county and congratulate him on the occasion of his retirement. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Leave it for him, Tom.
Not Mr. Mathis, but
You look like
I'm the manager at the quarry, and I just would like to say, Mr. Mathis, I talked to him today, and he was apologetic for not being here, but he appreciated this recognition and felt really honored by it, and he was a little afraid because of COVID and the uptick there, and so he didn't come. But just as a working hand with him over the years. I worked with him at the road department and at the quarry, and we really appreciated his service for what he's done here for the county. And I'll make sure he gets it.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Public comment session. I need to remind everyone that each speaker has 4 minutes to speak. I will hold up a yellow sign when you have 1 minute left, and I'll hold up a red sign when time's up. Mr. Tony Adams.
Sorry.
I spoke with council last year about the maintenance and upkeep of county assets and property. I specifically mentioned the Golden Corner Commerce Park becoming a large thorn tree farm. Week before last, I drove down Highway 59 to attend a meeting in Fairplay. And it is an understatement to say my blood pressure went up a few points as I drove past this park. This 300-acre site has now become a kudzu and thorn tree jungle. And it would cost the taxpayers a good sum of money just to clean it up. I doubt it would ever get back to this original condition just a few years ago. If it did, it'd cost a small fortune. I have to ask why this was allowed to happen. Many of us remember not too long ago that the County Heritage Fair was held on that site. There were several farmers in that area that kept that 300-acre plus parcel up nicely. They cut a lot of good fescue hay off of it. They got a little utility out of it. That's about all that's been got out of it since 2005. Again, I have to ask why. After I've tracked this park since 2005, when this acreage was purchased by our county for well over $1 million. And watched as over $9 million was invested in installing a 13-mile sewer line and pump station to the site in 2015 and 16. A total investment of well over $10 million, which we have not received 1 red cent of return on. Again, I ask why? As time passes and I continue watching and researching county and municipal politics in Oconee County, I believe I may know the answer to my why questions. I have sat in these very council chambers and listened to District 3 County Councilman Paul Kane say on multiple occasions that the Golden Corner Commerce Park was a mistake. If it was a mistake, it's a very expensive mistake. I sat in these chambers and listened to former Council District 2 Councilman Wayne McCall call the Golden Corner Commerce Park a spotted pig nobody wanted. Mr. McCall also used McCall Brothers equipment to help install Waha's water line to the much dearer Industry and Technology Park. Could there possibly be some partisan politics here? In closing, I will say what I have heard, observed, and researched, that if the Golden Corner Commerce Park was a mistake, it is simply because the special interest powers that be in Oconee have wanted it to be a mistake. I have to close my comments by asking why again. Nobody has gained anything by allowing the Golden Corner Commerce Park to become a kudzu and thorn tree jungle. And all of us have lost value doing this. Being allowed to happen by our county and municipal governments in Oconee County. Thank you very much.
Mr. Perry Smith.
Hey, I'm Perry Smith. So I have just a few brief comments. The first comment is for you, John Elliott. I've came before you quite a few times to ask you to offer an apology to the good citizens of this county after you called them the mob, as it was written in the comic book paper we have in this county, and you have yet to do that. And so what I'd like to say is we don't want your apology anymore. You know, you've made a mockery of the citizens that came to be a part of something special. You don't obviously think you should apologize to the good citizens of this county, but since you decided to call us all a mob, you know, a lot of professional folks mob, you know, we are gonna make Oconee better. Thanks to you. Make Oconee better, mob. That's our motto from now on. So we thank you for that. Mr. Durham, it doesn't matter what our comic book paper writes about you. It don't matter what they don't write about you. We stand behind you 100% like a rock. We know your integrity. It shows every time you speak to the public that comes up here and speaks to council. It shows your integrity, the way you speak to everyone shows your character. Your character is better than, it's hands down, absolutely awesome. We appreciate you, and we stand behind you like a rock, and we don't care what our comic book section paper in this county writes about you. We believe in you, and we believe, we know you're not guilty of anything, but we appreciate you. I'll say that to anybody. They can make fun of me on Facebook all they want about it, but I'm proud to say that I stand behind you. And also, I think you got a pretty dang big team that stands behind you also. So we're always going to be there for you. And other than that, thank you.
Any other? Yes, sir.
Sorry, I was running late getting here. Do you want to pass this out to them, or can I approach you?
Can you say your name, please, sir?
Mickey Haney. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to stay with you. I got more copies than you need, so they're back and forth. You should have some spares. You want me to start now, or
Yes,
wait
go
till you
ahead.
get?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So going through the capital budget, or not capital budget, I have to work now. Going through the county budget, I noticed that in 2002, we had changed the account numbers, or general ledger codes. As you can see there, the old account numbers, the new account numbers. It also, if you look at this, it broke down the salary. It didn't break down the names, but it broke down the salary of every position here in the county. And it also went further and broke down the expenditures and revenues. Now, if you turn to the next page, this is where the problem comes, because in 2004, 2005, we dropped off portions of the general ledger code. All we got is the department indicator. So the next page is actually the check registry, and on that, unfortunately, it's very small, it's got the full general ledger code. But if you flip to the back page, that is our county budget now, the general budget. All you have is the department number. So when you're trying to balance the general ledger code from the check registry to the budget items, you cannot, as a citizen. We lost transparency in 2005 to the citizens, and I hope that y'all set it back. There's no reason this information should not be available on the financial transaction page. I mean, we're not restricted on data. Maybe in 2005, it's too much to print out, but it should be on that page for the citizens to see. I should not have to pay for a FOIA request to receive this information. I hope that y'all see to put back the transparency that was lost in 2005, so that the citizens of this county can have the ability to track where the expenditures are going. Thank you for your time. And if any of y'all want copies, I got it.
Okay, council member comments, and I'm gonna start with an announcement. Tony County Council would like to announce that Jennifer Adams as the new clerk for county council. Ms. Adams has lived with her family in Oconee County for over 35 years. She is an alum of Walhalla High School and Tri-County Technical College, and has served the public at the same time local medical practice for the last 20 years. Ms. Adams will begin her new career with Oconee County on Monday, October 11th. Ms. Adams, will you stand up and we can give you applause? Any other council member comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adams, talking about maintaining the county assets. Just reviewing minutes, the Ag Board and their meeting, I don't know, a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, mentioned about using county property maybe for some ag uses. I'll have to go back and review, actually watch that video to know what was stated. And Mr. Haney, talking about transparency in the budget. You know, the council, as stated many times by Mr. Davis, has strived to improve transparency. And the YouTube video was great, so we can watch meetings anytime. We have a financial transparency page on the website that's very valuable, but I agree that this information should be available to the public. And as a matter of transparency, it used to be on here, nobody on this council or in this administration was part of removing it. But with that being said, I'd like to make a motion for increased transparency and to have these items included, direct staff to have it included in future budgets. And in the meantime, to make it available to the citizens upon request without having to fill out a Freedom of Information Act request.
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, if I could just jump in. You can make a motion to amend the agenda to do it right now, because that's not an agenda item. But what we could do is probably streamline way. I'm sure Amanda would, when she's here in the next meeting, we'd be glad to talk about why it was done, because she was here then. and how we can do it now. She'd have more detail on the easiest way to do it. So can we just hold it until then? So she can address it?
Well, we can place it on the agenda for the next meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So I'll remove my motion then.
Any other discussion?
Yes, I would like to welcome Ms. Adams to Oconee County. Appreciate her applying and all of those that applied. We had a lot of great applicants that applied. And look forward to working with her as she serves the citizens of Oconee County. And on the documents that just got laid out, I mean, you can, I'm gonna have to review them to see exactly what they are, but it's interesting when you come up here and scream lack of transparency when we've continually done stuff rather than say, hey, these are some things that should be on there. So I do take extreme issue when somebody comes up here and screams that, or tries to say that we're doing something wrong, especially when there has been some things that have been brought up that were proven to be correct in our side of things. So I'll definitely review this, have a statement at the next council, and I'm grateful for it to be on there. But to state that we're not transparent because you brought up 3 papers in trying to insult the government or insult anybody that's part of our financial team bothers me a lot. So again, I'll review this. I just got it, a couple minutes ago, and we'll see.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I don't believe Mr. Haney screened not being transparent. He just simply said, with this information missing, we're less transparent in this financial document than we was in 2003. I don't think he was accusing anyone of anything. That's all.
Any other discussion? If not, public hearing for the following ordinance. Ordinance 2021-20. An ordinance to appropriate and authorize the expenditure of a portion of the local Cronus fiscal recovery funding that has been allocated to Oconee County under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, as follows. 1, appropriating $3 million of county ARPA funding for the purposes of necessary water and wastewater infrastructure improvements for the city of Seneca water and wastewater infrastructure project. 2, authorizing the expenditure subject to certain terms and conditions of up to $3 million of such appropriated funds for the Seneca water infrastructure project, and 3, other matters directly related thereto. No one has signed up for public comment on the public hearing, so I close public hearing 2021-20. Third reading of the following ordinance, 2021-20, an ordinance to appropriate and authorize the expenditure of a portion of the local coronavirus fiscal recovery funding that has been allocated to Oconee County under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, as follows. 1, appropriating $3 million of county ARP funding for the purposes of necessary funding and wastewater infrastructure improvements for the city of Seneca water and wastewater infrastructure project. 2, authorizing expenditure subject to certain terms and conditions of up to $3 million of such appropriated funds for the Seneca water infrastructure project, and 3, other matters directly related thereto. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, second reading of the following ordinance. Ordinance 2021-21, an ordinance to appropriate and authorize the expenditure of a portion of local coronavirus fiscal recovery funding that has been allocated to Oconee County under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, as follows. 1, appropriating $2,474,080 of county ARPA funding for the purposes of necessary water, wastewater infrastructure improvements for the city of Walhalla water, wastewater infrastructure project. 2, authorizing the expenditure subject to certain terms and conditions of up to $2,474,080 of such appropriated funds for the Walhalla water, wastewater infrastructure project. And 3, other matters directly related thereto. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first reading of the following ordinance. Ordinance 2021-23 will be considered after executive session. Ordinance 2021-24, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds in one or more series, tax exempt, taxable, in amount not to exceed $1,500,000 for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, equipping, and rehabilitating various capital projects in the Kiwi Fire Tax District, authorizing the county administrator to prescribe the form and details of the bonds, provided for the payment of the bonds and the disposition of the proceeds of the bonds, provided for borrowing in anticipation of issuance of the bonds, and other matters related. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll start with discussion. Most of these proceeds will be used for a combo ladder platform and engine. The current platform ladder is 30 years old. It's not very reliable, and this tax district has some hills and some certain areas that you have to have a ladder platform. There'll be no ongoing cost to the county. No funds from the county will be used to be paid back by the Kiwi Special Fire District. Any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to say they have had several meetings in there, and have continued to have full support of their area, and I appreciate them continuing to have those meetings, and very well attended. I know you're aware of that as well, but I wanted to note that. I appreciate Chief Shirley and his team for what they're doing there.
And the millage increase that was approved by this council this year includes the money for these payment back of these bonds.
Mr. Chairman, that is special fire tax district millage. Just want to make sure that people understand that.
Right. Just
That is only paid by the people in Kiwi Special Fire Tax District.
Right.
Thanks, sir.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
First and final reading of the following resolution. Resolution 2021-13. A resolution certifying certain real property of Coney County as abandoned textile mill site, including parcels identified by tax map numbers 210-00-01-003, 210-00-01-073, 210-00-01-024, and 210-00-01-023. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. To have this classified as an abandoned mill, textile plant, is that any benefit to the property owners? I mean, is that something that they can use towards getting funding?
Well, yeah, for the developer who owns this parcel, West Clemson, they'll use it for income tax credits, which they can monetize and sell, or they can use themselves, but they won't be using it for property tax credits, but for income tax credits, yes, it provides that benefit.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion regarding action items. Council approval of a Coney County Conservation Bank expenditure in the amount of $29,999 for a conservation easement to a Coney Soil and Water Conservation District. William C. Keats, 40.09 acres, approved unanimously by the Oconee County Conservation Bank Board on Wednesday, September 29th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I can start discussion off. Just clarification, the $29,999 is from private money. It is not taxpayer money. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
why don't we let the gentleman speak to us on it?
Yes, sir. I didn't see you stand up there, Andy. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Mr. Elliott, Andy Smith, Chair of the Coney County Conservation Bank, this is a great piece of property. It has a lot of historic value. It's got a lot of natural resource value. It's got a bit of agricultural value. It's a great combination. It's in a part of the county that it's important to have conservation property there. Plans for the property will be to rebuild a mill there. There was a mill there in the late 1700s. The mill actually burned down, I think, in 1786. They'll grow grain on 13 acres on the property that will then be milled at the site. There's an Indian petroglyph there, beautiful creek that comes through there that's been used for baptisms, that sort of thing. In the past, Mr. Keese, the property's appraised for $600,000. And so this is a conservation need that's going to be placed on the property for conservation in perpetuity, but it's also going to be transferred, in fee simple, the property is going to be transferred to the Foothills Farmstead. They will own the property, they'll manage the project there. The Coney Soil and Water Conservation District will manage the conservation easement on the property. The Foothills Farmstead will also work in concert with the Lake Hartwell Regional Tourism Council for administrative oversight. The council, the Regional Tourism Council, will actually provide administrative services to the Foothills Farmstead to help them do what they do. As you know, the Foothills Farmstead leases a piece of property, 16 acres, from the county in a 30-year lease where they have established an 1800s working farmstead. On this property, they will establish a 1700s working farmstead. Mr. Keese, like I said, is selling the property at a discounted rate of $300,000. It's appraised at $600,000. He is also going to apply for a grant for $275,000 from the South Carolina Conservation Bank. This property will actually come to the county as new conservation property at a cost to the county of $748 per acre. And as you said, this isn't taxpayer money, this is third-party money that is the county's money, and we therefore ask that you honor our recommendation for approval of this grant to the Foothills Farmstead.
Any discussion or questions?
Yes, sir. Is there any particular reason you didn't want to put a tax map number on this property?
No, well, there's, do you have my, you should have the section 2-404B4 findings, which has the tax map numbers on it.
I don't have it, but anyway,
Okay.
I know
It's
the
in the back,
property.
it's in the backup.
It's in the backup, yeah.
I can't get back up.
So your suggestion, Mr. Hart, would be to put it in this little blurb,
No, that's fine. I mean,
which
I
we'd be
knew-
happy to do.
I know the gentleman, I know the property.
Very good.
In fact, your description was right on about the property. It has a beautiful waterfalls
It
on
really
it.
does.
And, I've been guilty of driving my truck through that creek at the Ford Day.
It's a public road, you can do that.
Not only that, it's a state road.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess they're afraid they would, damage the beauty of it if they done something to the road. But, like you say, if you haven't ever been down that road, it's worth the drive because it is a beautiful piece of property.
It's one of the prettiest properties that we've dealt with on Conservation Bank, in my opinion, and one of the most unique because it has so many different elements to it besides natural resources.
Mr. Hart, the tax map number 335-00-02-022
And 026.
and 026.
Any other questions or discussion?
And that will be filed with documentation. It looks on
Okay.
it. So.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Y'all know I'm not a fan of the Conservation Bank, especially in a county that's already 1/3 national forest, and it just strips future generations of property rights. But landowners, this process is in place. They follow the correct process, so I intend to vote to improve. That's all.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council approval of in-kind materials in amount not to exceed $30,000 for the Foothills Agricultural Resource and Marketing Center, the Farm Center. Staff's recommendation that council approve in-kind materials in amount not to exceed $30,000 for the Foothills Agricultural Resource and Marketing Center for the continuation of improvements. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir. This $30,000, I can't vote for it if it was $3. For the simple reason that, to start with, I wasn't on council when this came about, but all we need is the piece of property. If we just had the piece of property, if we just had a driveway into it, if we just had a letter from the county saying that we could get a grant, could we have a second driveway? I think it's time that the taxpayers wean this project off and let them stand on their own. They just had the County Heritage Fair there, and I'm sure that thing brought in some money. And what are they doing with that? Why are they passing it on to the taxpayers of Oconee County? That's my thought on it. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman. Thanks for that, Mr. Hart. You know, charity isn't the role of government, and it's not kind or compassionate to be generous with other people's money. That's all.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I think that it is the role of government to support agriculture, in this county especially. And I think that we're getting a very good return for the taxpayers' investment in this property. The county still owns this property. And if for some reason the farm center vacates, the county will continue to own that property. I think the investment that they're making in the local agricultural community, assisting with youth programs and running the farmers market, which is very well attended and helps support a number of small businesses, is vital to this county in ensuring that we continue to have local agriculture here. I think that we should support their efforts, and I'm happy to do so. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I appreciate all that the Farm Center does, the attendance and the growth of just the Saturday morning ability to go there and buy local food is just absolutely unbelievable, and just has became a real staple of our community. And the thousands of people that are involved in this group, that are supportive of this group and supportive of agriculture in Oconee County, it's well more than anything that we can do. And honestly, they should be asking for more funding to continue to expand support of agriculture, because unfortunately it is one of those things that continually is passing by generations. And so they are doing a really good job on the education front of what agriculture means to Oconee County, and is still the largest industry that we have here. So appreciate all that they continue to do, and it was did a great job at the Heritage Fair. Had a little bit of rain early on and had some excitement out there, but they did a really great job. Appreciate all those that volunteer their time, and all those farmers that continue to push for agriculture in Oconee County.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
The way I've got it added up, we've got about $2 million in that place. And what did we do about agriculture before they put that there? Did we just have to rebirth this because of this? All this is some people have their vision and they want to, let's put a windmill over here. And I think they ought to have enough ingenuity to figure out some way to pay for it without passing it on to the taxpayers of Oconee County. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Purchase of Extreme Network switches. Department IT, amount $180,985.10. It's staff's recommendation that council, one, approve the purchase of the countywide Extreme Network switches in the amount of $180,985.10. And two, authorize the county administrator to execute the payment plan agreement in substantially the same form as attached hereto, or with such material changes as benefit the county, upon advice of the county attorney, along with such other documents necessary to effect this purchase. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Council committee reports is none scheduled. Board and commission appointments, Building Codes Appeals Board, one at-large seat, no questionnaire on file for this seat. Council will go into executive session for the following purposes. One, receive legal advice to discuss potential litigation related to public nuisance and related issues and complaints. Two, receive legal advice and discuss potential contractual matter regarding county-owned real property. Three, discuss an economic development matter project, CASO. Four, discuss economic development matter project Ruby Slipper. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. go out of executive session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Mr. Rubin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, I need one motion stemming from the executive session items. This was item number 1, which is the receipt of legal advice and the discussion of potential litigation related to public nuisance and related issues and complaints. I need a motion to direct staff to proceed with litigation as discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's see, we have ordinance 2021-23. An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a ground lease agreement between Oconee County as lessor and Fairview Community Church as lessee for certain real property located at 16 Paget Street, Seneca, South Carolina, and other matters related thereto. Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to postpone this, to receive additional information from the county administrator.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Is there a motion to go, is there a motion to adjourn?
Right here.